That generation, I guess. Old school, yeah. A little bit smudgy there now, but now we're going to get it coming. King Canada has been bringing quality machinery, tools, and equipment to the North American market for over 38 years. They offer innovative products for all applications, for the industrial and commercial setting, as well as the homeowner and hobbyist. King Canada is a sponsor of the Newfoundland Hobbyist. Welcome back to another episode of the Newfoundland Hobbyist and to my beautiful workshop here. I'm excited to be standing in front of my timber frame bench today. We're going to be doing some woodworking. If you've seen the last episode of the Newfoundland Hobbyist, we documented an incredible knife build where we built for a client a custom order, a kitchen set, mirror polished, premium. These things are beautiful. Okay, so now that we know the set that we're working with, we have to put those in a block to match. Now, to match the beauty of those knives, it's not going to be easy. And when you're designing an accompanying piece like this, like a block or a sheath or something to pair with a beautiful knife like that, it needs to complement the knife. You don't want it to be too much to draw attention away from the knife, because the knife is the focal piece. But yet you don't want a sheath or a wooden block that's not up to spec, that sort of downgrades the knife piece, that draws from it. Needs to be just right, and that's what we're going to try to accomplish today. Looking face down at my timber frame bench once again, and here is what I have in mind. Don't mind the extra markings, that's just pulled in a scrap paper. James 5, 13, 14. I don't know what I was thinking when I sketched that there. But this is a wooden block. This is what I have in mind for the shape. I want it on an angle, of course. The angle has to be just right. Then I've marked out for my slot measurements here. All what I'm shooting for is 1/8 inch wide gaps, because that's the stock we've used. And you notice we built 5 knives, but the client also has 2 other high-end knives, specialty kitchen knives, that he wants to fit in this block as well. So we need to make 2 extra slots. We have the dimensions pulled for those, and that's what we're going to work with. So I've got a way in mind that we're going to accomplish this. My cousin Brandon, if you're watching, woodworker, gifted me some beautiful pieces of bird's eye, I believe maple, maybe a bird's eye birch, but I have several pieces here that I've had for about 1.5 years in my shop. This is very, very dry material, plain finish, and very nicely figured, and that's what I want to use for this project, because the colors of the wood so closely match the natural curly maple, and I just think it's going to be incredible. You can see here, like I said, those natural finishes almost identical. This will take on a little bit darker, probably a little more yellowy tone I expect when oiled, because it will get an oiled finish, but being this dry, it'll cure really well with glue. It'll set up nicely, and it'll just be the perfect material to accent this block as the knives are set down into the wood. So now we have to take our designs and make this a reality. Now, our wood we have here is only going to be, that is this specialty wood here, is only going to be used for the 2 outside face plates. We need something thicker within the block to space the knives. But whenever you have a fine wood like this, and you can do it, you want to make sure you shop around for the nicest figuring. You don't want to cut out and lose some of the nicest figuring. Do my straight cuts first, leaving a little excess. Well, now that actually looks a little bit like a knife block already, which is exciting. I want to leave excess so that I can like flush trim the top at the end with the bandsaw and the belt grinder, and we can just get, you know, we've got the room to grind down to the perfect finish. Now we'll have a whole bunch of knives sitting like so. So what I need now is a bunch of approximately 1" or 1/8" thick strips that I can cut and put in here. Something nicer than Meranti, something like, well, I'll see what I have here. This is not one of those fancy big productions, guys, where I say what we're gonna do and you see the stuff being cut and then there's a frame change and whoa, and I have a team behind the screen cutting materials for me. You're seeing it live action now, and I'm wearing the evidence of it. So everything is getting trimmed up. These are gonna be our strips and we'll cut these this way accordingly. But this is just going to be so beautiful. This is cut from another piece of material that was gifted to me by my cousin Brandon. Again, Brandon, buddy, you are helping me out on this project. But I believe this is a piece of walnut, black walnut. Beautiful old piece. Looks like an old piece of a piece of furniture, because I know he used to do a lot of furniture restorations and stuff like that. And I think that's what these are. Very excited about this setup here. This is going to work perfectly. I might be getting ahead of myself. I shouldn't be talking like that. I think I've removed all likelihood of failure here. But what I'm going to do, there's no way to glue all this in one big block, in one glue. It would just be a disaster. Things would end up shifting, and these need to be perfectly in place. This is a high-end premium build. This needs to be near perfect. So I'm going to do them in faces. Each face is numbered like this. So, and every knife has its slot, because every knife is a different dimension. They're pass-through channels. We want that so channels can dry out and air out and breathe. And if there's a little bit of moisture left on your knife when you shove it down, or if something falls in the block, you want to be able to pass through. I don't want a closed bottom block. But these will be glued just like this to the face. Everything is marked to dimension. I'll throw some weight on it or something and let that sit there. I'll do the same with all of these, and then when that's done, I can put these together in one face, compress, and that'll be the second glue up. From there, it's just fit and finish, sand, chamfer edges, get in a beautiful finish, and then we've got a little more creative work to really take this thing way over the top. You just wait.
From brutal offshore drilling platforms all the way to the homeowner and hobbyist, Lincoln Electric's 125 years of experience provides the quality you need to get the job done right. The Newfoundland Hobbyist is sponsored by Lincoln Electric.
A brand new day, a new night actually, if we're being entirely accurate, and this has been sitting for about 24 hours in glue up now, and we're at a very exciting part. My favorite part, because pretty much all the stress is off of this build at this point. It's pure enjoyment. Getting to the point of glue up, all the measurements, a little bit technical and a little bit of a head scratcher, you know, how are we going to lay it out? How are we going to make it fit? What materials? And like I said, a little bit of a head scratcher, and you know, it's not just pure enjoyment. But at this point now, assuming the glue up went well, we don't have any joints fall apart, we're nice and easy now. Everything is nice and easy. It's just final finish, trimming everything out, sanding, gluing. Filling, we'll probably have to do a little bit of wood filling on a few hairline gaps here and there. Oh, this is exciting. We have a really sweet 17-inch throat here, very deep this way, so we can handle something like this, and I can just run this through and snip all this off. This is just an incredible luxury, of course, to have a tool like this. I started out my workshop years with very few tools, with very little at my disposal, just a few hand tools, and I was always collecting new hand tools, and mostly buying vintage, restoring them, old hand saws and sharpening them, rounding up old chisels and stuff and sharpening them, and fixing up, making new socket handles and things like that. Very few tools. And just built my collection over the years. And if you make it a priority, it's not hard to do over the years. And then every Christmas I would ask for a few new tools, and for birthdays I would ask for a few new tools, and just any extra money I would get. And over time you end up with this capable collection. And if you're always working on projects, you're building your skill set as well. Over time you end up with a setup where you can tackle a lot of different projects. And here now in my shop, I'm capable of metal work and woodwork and automotive work and knife work and blacksmithing and leather work. And there's just really not much limitation here now in this shop that I've built and set up. And it's just been a long process of continual effort. But take your time, choose your steps wisely. Don't overspend yourself. Don't overreach. Pace yourself. You'll get there. What a magnificent tool, guys. What a piece of machinery. And look at this. Can you see it now? Can you see it? Now we'll take it into another incredible tool that I have, my belt sander. We'll rough this in, then we'll go over to the orbital sander, all fit and finish. Now the next step with this premium block, and I've made a little wedge insert for the back, we're going to attach that later, but I have some genuine abalone shell here from New Zealand, some just incredible stuff. Look at this, this is real shell. If you're not familiar with abalone, you can go ahead and Google it. It's a naturally occurring in mollusks, just like pearls are. But it's this beautiful, beautiful color, just an incredible material. And what they do, they process it in thin slabs. They laminate them into sheets like this, so you can use for inlays and things. And it's what you might have seen before on guitar trims, very high-end premium guitars around the sound hole, around the outer. Sometimes you see it in little small pieces in the fretboard of a guitar. This same stuff. Now, not often this vibrant in color. This is very, very nice stuff. But what I want to do is just a very fine inlay. Again, there's a line you have to be careful not to cross where you actually draw from the project or you take away. But just a little strip just to give that blue, that ocean feel, because the client has asked for this set to offer a bit of Newfoundland when it sits on the counter. So we're going to do this fine little inlay, and then I'm going to do a beautiful engraving up here with my laser engraver. This is great. So I'm going to take this over to the table saw now. Just rip that fine line in there. Very, very shallow, of course. And then we'll see if we can get that laid in there with some epoxy. one of the best parts here is seeing all the colors come to life, the richness in those materials. One of the best parts of finishing a woodworking project is seeing that richness come to life from that dusty color. Using a food grade oil here, of course. Oh, look at that abalone gleam. Of course, it's a dusty finish first. And this is deep here. This is not just on the surface, guys. This is deep into the wood. And there it is, the finished product, all done. You can see that black walnut. Everything is just beautiful here. Now in the daylight, we can have a little bit better look, but the block is very rich, definitely stands up to the knives. And of course, we have those mirror polished beauties. Look at that. To pull out of this block, they definitely don't let the project down. Look at that glistening in the light. That's the beautiful thing about abalone, is that it doesn't glow like that until the light hits it. And then look at that. Just as the colors draw into the material, it brings out those natural reflections. And when I turn it away from the light source, you can see it darkens up. Just very special. Look at that there now, the little hints. And again, that black walnut carried through that wedge in the back. Spared nothing, even for a piece like this, just fit and finish that we sought after. Just very, very premium. Every slot accounted for, separated, just a beautiful fit. And again, with those knives there. Look at that. Just very happy with the whole way this turned out. I hope you are inspired by this project, that it inspired you to try something for yourself, to try a project on this scale, or even to get started. If you're not already into hand craftsmanship, if you've never tried woodworking but you've always wanted to give it a shot, or to make a knife, or to try doing inlays on your own projects. If you're already doing woodworking and you've never tried that, I hope this has inspired you to do so. At minimum, I hope you're entertained and enjoy this project. And I know my client will enjoy this set for years to come. So thanks so much for watching. That's all for this one. Make sure you tune in next week to the Newfoundland Hobbyist.